Hi everyone, very good morning to all of you. Very good morning to all my students of class 10. Now here, I am Manoj Mishra, your computer teacher from A.S.H.I.R.W.A.D Memorial Public School, Gola Bazar, Gola. Dear students, we have learnt in previous video in the reference of revision in chapter 1 communication skills, and we are going to see next topic. Okay, so there is a feedback and importance. Now, what is the feedback and what is the importance of communication skill? We are going to see here. So, dear student, see again all the things very carefully because this will help you in your exam and etc. So dear student, there is the feedback is communication is incomplete without feedback. You know very well that if you are communicating someone, if you are communicating something to anyone, then if you are not creating the feedback, then there is not the importance of the communication. Okay. So communication cycle with feedback, in case of communication cycle with feedback, the receiver does not only receive the message, the receiver does not only receive the message, he or she can also respond the sender. Okay, and the response given by the recipient to the sender is called feedback. And now student, the feedback may be oral or non-verbal. So for example, the email used to reply in official communication is also a form of feedback. The communication cycle with feedback is shown here. You can see there is the sender, there is the message which you want to say, and there is the receiver also. And here is created the feedback. You can see here. So this diagram is shown. The feedback is important in communication. Now, depending on the understanding of the message by the receiver, the feedback can be both positive and negative. Feedback can be given in the following forms here, like written feedback. After the completion of a specific task, written feedback is provided, and such kind of feedback is provided by teachers. The teachers evaluate students' worksheet and provide feedback based on their performance. So, dear student, this is also called the evaluation feedback. Now, oral feedback. Such kind of feedback is given when a task is being performed, and oral feedback is an informal type of feedback, and this kind of feedback is given during teaching. It is a natural part, it is a natural part of verbal communication. The verbal interaction takes place between students and teachers in a classroom, and for example, while teaching, the teacher may ask questions from students about any topic. Okay, so feedback from such communication is immediate. So dear student, by this way we have to clear feedback and its importance. Now in this reference we are going with topic 3, session 3. Here is the barriers to effective communication. What are the barriers you will found in your effective communication? If you want to communicate the people's or want to share any information, then what types of barriers will you face on that time? There is mentioned that what type of barriers you will found in effective communication. So effective communication requires that the message is conveyed clearly between the sender and the receiver. The communication barriers may cause misunderstanding or misinterpretation of the message. It means a communication barrier is anything that refrains us from understanding the message sent by someone, है ना? Various factors to be avoided to facilitate effective communication are as follows here. So first of all, stereotyping. First of all, you can see here, this is the stereotyping. We often form stereotypes about those persons whom we know the least. Once our mental sets are created and all our conversations get affected. Okay, this prevents us from effective listening. And next one is halo effect. Halo means this is another form of stereotyping also, and on the basis of single characteristics of a person, we make up our mind usually positively about the person. We may like someone's mannerism and while speaking and get so impressed that we are unable to see any negative points. Okay, so next one is for successful communication, one must be aware of the types of barriers that may obstruct the process of communication and how to overcome them. Various type of communication barriers are explained as follows, like physical barriers. First of all, what is the physical barriers? These are the barriers that occur due to environmental and natural factors and hinder the flow of messages, noise, environment, climate, technical problem, workplace design, time and distance, and information overflow are some physical barriers to effective communication. Dear student, next topic is language barriers. The difference in the language, accent and dialect of the communicating parties as well as the use of slangs and jargons can make messages ambiguous and unclear. For example, the technical words that are used by doctors and lawyers are completely different. We have seen the written precautions by the doctor, or some medicines are allowed by the doctor. That isn't different. You can't understand those writings actually. So these things, some jargon such as adjournment, the jargon used by lawyers as delaying the trial of defendant, and BP, medical jargon and blood pressures are used by people in their profession and can cause barrier to communication. So these types of things you will find that there is the communication gap. You will find the communications gap. Okay. Next is gender barrier. Gender barriers are any misunderstanding or confusion in the intended messages caused by male and female differences. It means in order to be effective, communication must be understood by both men and women. Next is attitudinal barrier, the behavior or perception of a person that may prevent him or her for conveying the message properly is called attitudinal barrier. So, in this reference, perceptual barriers, what means? Perceptual barriers means different people have different views and different views may lead to the message properly, led to misunderstanding. Most people interpret messages from their point of view. Dear student, they do not try to understand the message from the center's perspectives, and also this may lead to miscommunication. Can understand very carefully. Perspectual barriers, and next thing, cultural barriers. Cultural barriers is ruling as very important in our communication, that how social, religious and ethical differences may lead to misunderstanding and misinterpretation of the message. Emotional barriers also including here, due to anger, fear and other kind of emotions you will find that it becomes difficult to understand what someone wants to convey. Some people hold back their thoughts and feelings and do not communicate them to others. Okay, now next one is session 4, measures to overcome communication barriers. What type of measures to overcome our barriers? You can see here some measures to overcome communication barriers are explained as follows. Try to assess the needs of receiver. The speaker or the sender of the message should always ask the feedback from the receiver's end, and this helps in better understanding of the needs of the receiver and modifying the type of mode of communication if required. And the focus of the speaker should be on know your audience. Okay. Next one is hone your active listening skills. What is the means of this? So listening plays a major role in making any communication or conversation successful. To enhance your listening skills, you must first learn to acknowledge the thoughts and feelings of others without being judgmental. Okay, next, soften your tone and language. You can measure the communication barriers. So it is necessary for the boss of an organization to soften down, his or her tone while talking to the employees, as his or her every move is watched by others. So one should be professional while speaking. While you are speaking, you can find out that one can be professional. Encourage feedback means it is the responsibility of the sender to convey the message successfully to the receivers and to know whether this is happening or not. One should take feedback from the receivers frequently. This can be done by asking questions between the conversation. Such feedback should be taken positively. Okay. And next one is importance or writing skills. This is very important things you should learn here. Writing skills is an important and essential part of communication skills, and makes it easy to communicate your message to a large number of audience. So in our daily life, you can see here, one has to write many things such as letters, email, and essays, which may be official or personal. An effective writer can communicate his or her ideas to receivers very easily, and the writing should be such that is easy for the receiver to understand. It must not contain any spelling or grammatical mistakes. If you are writing something, you want to communicate with writing, so you should first of all in your mind that there is no any grammatical mistakes and there is no any spelling mistake. That is showing your skills very good. So next, it must be contain not any spelling or grammatical mistakes. The language used for writing should be chosen according to the audience. What types of audience you have, that type of written materials also. Okay. Next is with the help of writing, one can reach a large number of people. Newspaper articles are example of this. These are the examples you can see here, newspapers articles. And next one is writing skills are necessary in every field. For example, software developers need to write instructional manual for users. Doctors have to write and detailed notes on a patient disease. Email is almost being used by everyone nowadays. One must know how to write an email to send the message effectively to the receivers also. And next one is some common elements of the English languages are. Some common elements means you can write the phrase there, you can show the articles, you can use the sentences, better sentences there, and paragraphs and parts of the speech. Like these things you can mention in your writing skills, and you can show such types of things. Okay. Next one is phrase. What is the means of phrase? What is phrase? You can see a group of words in English is called a phrase. A group of words in English is called a phrase. This means a phrase can be either short or long. A phrase can never include subject, verb, pairing, and different types of phrases are as follows. First one is noun phrase. It builds around a single noun. For example, the title rabbit is in the park. Okay. Verb phrase, if you want, it is defined as the verbal part of a clause. For example, he was reading the book. He was reading the book. Adjective phrase, such kinds of phrases are built around an adjective. For example, the neck of a giraffe is very tall. You can see here. Such phrases are also referred to as adverbs. Okay. Next one is sentences here. Now what is the sentence? You can see here. Sentences may be defined as an arrangement of words such that one can express his or her ideas clearly in writing. A sentence must start with a capital letter. You know very well that if you are starting some sentences, that will first letter of sentence that will in capital letter. You know very well a sentence must start with a capital letter. It must end with a period. A sentence must have both noun as well as verb. Various types of sentences are as follows. You can see here simple sentence, compound sentence, complex sentence, declarative sentence, imperative sentence, interrogative sentence, and exclamatory sentence. So these types of sentences you have learned in grammar also. Now we will explain some words. And noun, subject, and verb predicate. So you should learn all the things very carefully. There is mentioned how to. Next one is parts of speech. Parts of speech may be defined as the categories of words based on their grammatical properties. And various types of parts of speech are as follows. One is noun, pronoun, adjective, verb, adverb. These all things you will find here in parts of speech. In articles, articles are of two types. You know, very definite article and indefinite article. Such articles are used to specify particular thing. For example, the sun, or indefinite articles means buy a car. He wants to buy a car. A is a you want to use here, so that is the indefinite cars in articles. Next is construction of a paragraph. A paragraph may define as a set of sentences that are focused on particular topic. The elements of a paragraph may be defined as order, unity, coherence, completeness. These things you will use in your grammatical or using if you are talking with someone. So use very clear the grammatical and spelling errors. You should find out that how are you write something, how are you saying something. These all things including in your communication. So that's why this is very important. And some practice questions are here. We will complete. We will learn in next video to how to complete the things. And next chapter is self-management skill. We will come with next video. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you so much.